to the TyePod, hosted by your friendly neighborhood PhD. Hi, everybody. It's another episode of the TyePod. Today, I'm joined by Aaron Baker, who is a paraplegic athlete and public figure. And I know you do quite a bit of cycling and touring around the country. So I'm looking forward to visiting with you about that and then getting into kind of just, back and forth of our experiences and go from there. So appreciate you being on.
My pleasure, Ty. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of like to start with some people think it's a heavy question, some people not, but do you feel like you have a theme song for your journey, your life, one that you like right now, just because, like anywhere you want to go?
I love it. Well, I mean, I've always been, what do you say, drawn to the Highwayman by the Highwaymen.
Yes. Yep.
That whole crew. My grandfather was a trucker, so I put a lot of miles down, and that song seems to resonate. So.
Yeah. Love that one. I actually went to a Johnny Cash tribute thing here in Nashville a couple of weeks ago, and they did that song. So that's kind of been a thing with my family a lot too, is they were always into that kind of music. So yeah, very cool. Yeah, very awesome. But starting out kind of about your story and journey, if you want to just share kind of some highlights about like you and like your profession, kind of anywhere you want to start out with, and then we'll just kind of dig deeper into some different spots.
Sure. Okay. I'm no spring chicken. I'm 46 years old now. And I had a spinal cord injury 2.5 decades ago. It was 1999. Mm-hmm. I was a young professional athlete chasing a dream. Mm-hmm. I wanted to win trophies on a dirt bike, on a motorcycle. It was my young boyhood passion. I dedicated all my waking time to it. I traveled the country, learned quite a lot, won quite a lot, crashed quite a lot. And then, unfortunately, I did have a career-ending injury.
Mm-hmm.
I broke cervical vertebrae 4, 5, and 6 in my neck, rendering me instantaneously a quadriplegic.
Mm-hmm.
And, for a young man, that was an identity crisis, to say the least. My whole world shattered.
Yeah.
There's very little information that long ago. No social media, no sharing of stories.
Nowhere to go and find relatable connections. Yeah.
Like this, Ty.
Right.
Back then, we were all very isolated. And the stories were few and far between of hope. They were very little. And so I found myself 1 year post-injury, although I was motivated as a young athlete to try and heal, I was still in a very dark place.
Yeah. I definitely I can relate to that a lot. With I had actually a surgery about 5 years ago now, and it left me with a tracheostomy, and I lost the ability to talk. And so with my MD, there were certain things that I kind of fell back on, like speaking. That was, I don't think I took it for granted, but I definitely maybe didn't appreciate it as much as I do now. And when you're just kind of left to your thoughts, and you kind of go to that dark place, it's not easy to climb back out, and kind of figure out what to do next. It's a really challenging time for sure.
I think we're lucky in today's day and age where we can connect to each other like this and truly empathize and share each other's life experiences. And at least for me, it keeps perspective in mind, and that we do have value to share with other people. And when you do connect and share, then it can help make sense of your own suffering, of your own challenges. As the cliche says, it can always be worse. And
that's true.
Tremendous suffering in the world.
It's relative.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. But we lean on each other.
Yeah, we definitely do. Can you think, so as you were recovering and everything and coming back from the injury, when was the first time you did meet somebody that you had a connection with and you could relate? And was it social media, or did you just meet somebody in person as you were going through?
No, at 1999, there was no.
Okay.
We had Nokia or flip phones.
I remember those days. Actually, I'm not far behind you. In high school, I remember the Motorola Razor was the thing. And yeah.
Well, to date me, I was using a pager in high school.
I remember. I think that was the end of the pager age, probably, when I was in high school. Yeah.
Hard to communicate on those things. You got to have a phone.
Yeah.
Anyhow, there was a vague story of a man named Patrick Rummerfield out of the Midwest who broke his neck, similar to my injury, in the late 70s. And it took him many, many years just to regain independence and function, to ambulate on his own. And he had a tremendous recovery. Really came back to walking and functioning and living, as I said, an independent life. And I didn't know a lot of detail of the story. There wasn't much out, other than some printed articles, short little pieces, and a therapist shared that story. And it was enough to plant a seed in my mind of hope, or possibility at least. If I stay the course and I completely engage in this process of rebuilding and redefining myself and not looking back at what was, or trying to get back to a life that doesn't exist now. I was able to pour all my energy into living forward and looking to him and his example as a beacon or a North Star. Whether I, regained that amount of function, that wasn't the point. The point was that it inspired me to look forward.
Yeah.
And build a new life. That's what this example did for me. And it was enough to keep me in the game many years to this day.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's all it takes, right? It's kind of a glimmer kind of to keep going and to find that drive, to kind of redirect your life, maybe, or pivot and kind of reinvent yourself, right? Because I feel like it's like you have to let go of kind of a version of you that, I mean, you'll never get it back as much as you want to. And it doesn't mean it's easy, but it's like somehow reinvent and keep going.
It's a chapter, right? I mean, it's a new version of itself. It's an evolution.
Yeah, it is. It is. And do you feel like that's almost a human thing too, that maybe we experience sooner, I think, when we have an injury or something? But like, I think about just human life in general, right? You go through phases of like loss or losing a job or moving to a new place, or, there's always these sort of big transition points almost, where you're kind of a new person. So I feel like in some ways that's something I feel like I learned quicker, but I'm curious if you have that feeling as well.
I love that perspective, Ty. You're absolutely right. I think the silver lining, or I like to say we're the lucky ones, because we're faced with truth, mortality, the real hard parts of life. For me, at least, it gave me an opportunity to value time and to see each little new ability or relationship, or I just recognize the nuances of life, see the value there, and see them as adding to my life as I move through and evolve as a human, as a person. So I thank this adversity, my condition, for that. What do you say? I don't know. Ability to mature and see life in a beautiful way that I otherwise know I would.
That's interesting. It's kind of a old soul mentality or something that I think we get quicker, which that's a silver lining to that too. I think you do embrace things, I feel like, a little bit more, and like I feel like the relationships maybe are deeper that you form kind of after that. But I'm curious, like, your thoughts on, when you're in your 20s, and it's kind of like there's this idea that you're, kind of death and mortality is like, quite a ways away, and you're not thinking about that. But like, what's your thoughts on what would the adaptive thing be like if you were younger, like if you grew up with something versus when you have already experienced able-bodied life enough to the point that, you're kind of used to it, and then it's all of a sudden taken away. Like it's really interesting dynamic, to think about, like the stage at which you begin to learn about like ableism and things like that.
Well, I mean, I think they're two completely different life views. Obviously, if you've experienced life one way and then you're traumatically altered, there's a sense of loss. Right. And darkness, because you feel in the moment, at least I did as a young person, that you can't go on. And there's insecurity and fear and uncertainty and all these totally natural feelings and emotions around it. Whereas someone that has grown up with a condition learns to navigate in creative ways, to live in a world that's not necessarily made for. Right. It's challenging. It poses its own set of challenges. But I think those that are born into this they have this innate tenacity, this resilience and grit that some of us may or may not have activated. Right. We don't have the potential for it, but it has to be activated. And for someone that's young and adapts to the world, they cultivate that.
And like they don't know any like a difference, right?
No, and so they are naturally just, I would say, some of the most resilient and just strong human beings on the planet. Whereas someone like me, I could have gone one of two ways. I could have really been activated, and the grit from my grandmother and like all this stuff that I have in me can either be completely turned on, or I can squander it and wither away. I feel like I've felt this spectrum because I was very close to ending it all. Something I contemplated deeply multiple times. However, I have experienced death early on, a near-death experience in the hospital. That was quite profound. So it was something that gave me, again, depth of perspective.
Right. Right. No, I very much agree with you on that kind of spectrum of, life and kind of choosing which pathway that you want to keep going with. And it's even my particular case with muscular dystrophy, I felt like it really started affecting me around 14, 15. But then I've also like learned stories of people that were born with something, or, like they grew up and like, so even at age 10, 12, 13, like there's still that ableism that, like I would even try to mask or kind of downplay certain things about it. And it was like looking back, like, I wonder what it's like to embrace it right away and how much that changes. But maybe that's my overthinking imagination too, kind of going through those scenarios. But what was it like with like your friends and family when you were injured and coming back from that? Like, how did they help you sort of like navigate that? And I'm sure that the dynamics might have changed too a little bit with certain people.
Sure, great question. It's I mean, a traumatic injury has a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Um, it affects not only the individual but the families and the extended friends, the community, and people handle it in different ways. I was very fortunate that I have a loving family. Although my mother and father were divorced, they unified, in times of need. My mother left her life as she knew it and dedicated all her time and energy to me and my needs.
Mm-hmm.
Literally sold her house in Oklahoma, went to California. I mean, we're all from California, but she was living in
Okay.
Oklahoma at the time, and just never left my side. My sister was a casualty, 2 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
All the attention and everything went to me and my needs, and unintentionally, she fell into addiction and
Mm-hmm.
did not process the trauma um, in a healthy way, say. And
Okay.
that was heartbreaking for all of us. And it was hard. We're trying to heal, and she's trying to find her way as a young adult, and then even my friends, because you asked about my friends as well.
Yeah.
Some of them were drawn in, and some of them were terrified and were pushing
Went the other way. Yeah.
how to engage with me, how to help. Um, and so it was up to me to create a safe, neutral space for friends and family to come in and out of life,
Mm-hmm.
and assist or participate in as much or as little as they had the capacity for.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really well said. I think that, each relationship is its own unique connection. And, obviously like disability is going to impact it in different ways, but it can be like I've seen really close bonds form and strengthen because of it, obviously. And then, like you said, like some of those connections naturally just drift because, I mean, there is that like not knowing how to interact with someone who, can't physically do the things that they once did, and it's hard because like a lot of, you probably feel like a lot of yourself is still the same, right? But also you have this whole new side of you. And so it's got to be an adjustment for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was
And
a time there.
yeah.
I pushed friends away because I just couldn't relate any longer.
Yeah.
Very little tolerance or patience for the frivolous, games.
You move past that petty stuff pretty quick, right?
Pretty quick. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's hard. There was a time where I had a high expectation for my friends to kind of level up with me, and that was unfair.
Yeah.
That was not fair of
Yeah.
me to do that because we all arrive at perspective on our own time, and so that's where gaps began to form between relationships, and I had to reconcile that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I know what you mean about the expectations thing. And like, it seems like the more you have, the more you might be let down, because, you do want so much. And I think there's that maybe worry that you're going to lose those connections. And that almost is like the trigger point, for starting it. So I don't know, there's all kinds of dynamics going on emotionally there, I think. Yeah. 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 Kind of switching, like, was there a moment where you did kind of have this acceptance of what was going on and like you could see kind of a pathway to where you wanted to go? Or was it kind of just like a gradual progressive thing?
Well, good question. There was, as I briefly mentioned, just at 1 year post injury, I was in my
Mm-hmm.
darkest place and
Mm-hmm.
contemplated suicide. And as I came back from that moment, my mother forced the issue to attend um, a unique or specialized clinic. It wasn't really a clinic; it was a University of
Mm-hmm.
California, University Northridge in LA. They had a kinesiology department there, exercise science department,
Mm-hmm.
that had a special program going on called the Center of Achievement. The professor of that program, his best friend had a stroke, and so he filled that entire lab with unique and specialized equipment for individuals with neurological condition,
Mm-hmm.
um, spinal cord being one of them. And he invited community members in um, to be basically the guinea pigs for their students. And so all the students got to learn hands-on physiology fundamentals with individuals like myself. And, by proxy, I got an extreme education. So to answer your question, it was a light bulb moment when I was in the dark and my mother wheeled me through the university and into the lab. It was a beautifully lit place with mirrors and red carpet and all this equipment that I'd never seen before, and all this good other individuals like me kicking ass.
Yeah.
Like, well, here it is. This is where I can pour my energy, heart and soul into this place.
Yeah.
And see what's possible. So that was a real, what do you say, inflection point or pivot.
Yeah. Me. Wow. I love that. That's actually bringing in community members that have disability when you have that kind of, kind of research setting is huge. Like I had so many moments like that in graduate school where, I would work with some of my graduate advisors who were wanting to, spread some awareness and bring people in. And it was really interesting. Like we're the experts, right? Like we know what the issues are. Like when you have a disability, you come in and it's like, well, how can you design something if you don't know what the needs really are in the first place, And so like there's this huge learning curve, I think, and this awareness that people have when they start to realize, oh, this is really what the need is, and these are the details that are important. And it's just a really cool back and forth exchange, I think.
The energy there was infectious. You had these young, brilliant, hungry, minds that were they weren't molded. There was no box around them. They were eager and ready to experiment, explore possibilities. And
it was like a hackathon, basically, right?
Yeah, like us that come in there and say, okay, well, here's my body, and this is what.
Yeah.
The learning was just like through the roof. Everybody was always fired up and excited, and magic happened on a daily basis.
Yeah, I would imagine too. Like there were probably technologies and tools that were there that you had no idea maybe that were there. Like what were some of those that stuck out that right away you're like, I can use this like for something? Was there anything?
I mean, I learned about the new step machine.
Yeah,
the new step machine is a great like recumbent stepper, initially designed for cardiac patients. Actually, out here in Michigan, I'm going to go see them next week. It's been the cornerstone of my health and wellness because it's just a well-rounded functional machine that gives me, great workout. Doing it as well. But there was all kinds of experimental stuff going on, and I was always the first in line saying, "Hey, I'm your
let me try that." Yeah,
do it.
Yeah, there's benefits of being the guinea pig for sure. Yeah. What's something that you're using right now adaptively to do what you're doing? Like that, it's like a huge difference maker.
Well, I mean, being on the road, I can't take my home gym with me. We don't have a home right now. We have the rig.
Yeah.
But we tow a tow vehicle that's basically my garage, and I have my adaptive cycling equipment. I have a recumbent mountain bike called the Stinger, made by Reactive Adaptations, Jake O'Connor.
Okay.
I have an upright tricycle. It's a felt bicycle that allows me to be stable and safe while cycling. Now, those are cyclical movements. That's for building the lower body and stabilizing the upper body. But I'll use electrical stimulations and different types of resistance trainings while in the rig. I don't get the regular body work or the stretching or all the other things that I would get at home. I like hot cold therapies, saunas, and cold plunge.
The cold plunge is something I don't think I could ever do that. That's just,
I know,
man.
I can't do it without heat first.
Yeah. So I do heat first and then.
Yeah. Otherwise I lock up. There's no coming back from that cold.
Yeah. No, that's really cool though. That like you're kind of like toolbox of things, that you have basically with you all the time. That
I do, and I need that stuff. My body, unfortunately, especially as I age, reverts quite quickly. Like for example, I have a hamstring condition right now. I hurt my hamstring a couple weeks ago, and it's hindering me a lot and slowing me down even more. So I just have to stay in motion.
Yeah.
Live. I say to others.
I mean, you got to keep things active, right? And keep that like looseness still going, and
to the best of our ability, right?
Exactly. And I mean, even for me, thinking about like getting transferred into my wheelchair and using it, and even the smallest physical things, make a difference. And if you don't have it, like, I had an ICU experience where I was bedbound basically for a month, and it was just shocking how much like muscle atrophy and loss, that you have from that. And so it's like the more stagnant you are, the worse it gets. It seems like. So it's
posture, right? Like maintaining postural alignment and pressure mapping. So like where you're distributing forces. Because gravity is not our friend. my
No,
friend.
it's not. It is not.
No, it
Yeah.
gets heavier over time.
Yeah. Yeah. You can feel the pull a little bit more, I think, as we age. Yeah. Yeah. How did you kind of get to where you are now as far as like going around the country, and what's kind of the backstory on, all of your efforts with
Sure.
cycling now?
Good question. Well, I mean, it started with my mother long ago when my sister and I were quite young. She was an importer and took us abroad and kind of
Mhm.
planted those seeds of adventure and exploration when we were young. And so I've always been a bit adventurous by nature. And then I had a morphine dream when I was in you that
Aren't those fun?
yeah, I had long hair and shaved legs and I was cycling around the world.
Nice.
So that was kind of an odd dream that has just stuck with me. And throughout the process of recovery and learning the value of continuous repetitive motion, cycling,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I could see myself doing this for long periods of time and how that inspires or encourages neuroplasticity and the reconnections of nerve fibers.
Mhm.
And so I took it from early rehabilitation where I'm completely automated on autonomous equipment, electrical stimulation, pedaling my legs,
Mhm.
upright stationary to then a tandem bicycle where I could sit on the back seat of a bicycle built for two um,
Yeah.
and ride that way, which was very liberating. Although I wasn't in control, it was still wind in my face.
True.
And my mother is quite, what do you say, ambitious or
Hmm.
willing to ride with me. So she rode the front. She and I rode in, well, at first it was barely 5 miles,
Hmm.
5 minutes, then 5 miles, then 10, 15, 20. We did a marathon, 26.2.
Hmm.
We did the LA marathon multiple times. And then the epiphany of like, well, if we're riding these marathons, why don't we just ride across the country like Forrest Gump?
Yeah. There you go.
And my
Yeah.
mom was quite shocked because I declared this in front of an audience. We were
Oh,
giving a
you
big
did.
yeah,
Okay.
publicly. The
So
epiphany
you're
occurred.
you were committed at that point.
Well, that's the point. The epiphany was on a stage in front of a group of people, and I declared it. I said, "Well, let's just ride across the country." And
Yeah.
so it took us multiple years to get to that level of ability. But in 2007, we went from San Diego, 3,182 miles across the southern part of the United States, to Florida, St. Augustine, Florida,
Hmm.
and that was the Rise Above tour. And that was just so empowering and just like, wow, we're transforming the trauma into something more. And we would literally ride the bike into rehab centers and hospitals and schools
Hmm.
and talk to people, connect to people, and not not say like how to do things, but to just show like what's possible
Like,
and
this is
show
what we're
them,
doing, and yeah.
yeah, and say, look, man, I mean, if you take full ownership and responsibility of your condition and build a life around your wellness and put good people in place, who knows what's possible for you.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
kind of how we embarked on this tour cycling.
What was their like response with the people that you were visiting, or getting in touch with along that first one? Like,
I mean, real connections, like
yeah.
real admiration, right? Like I look at it from if I'm looking in on what I'm doing, would I respect it?
Mm.
Would I be inspired by it? Would I want to listen or learn from that person? That's how I look at it. And it's only by doing it that I want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Because talk is cheap.
That's true. That's a good point.
And
Yeah.
especially in today's day and age, there's a lot of people that are just
Yeah.
talking a good game, but not living by those words.
Right.
So
That's a very hypocritical way to do it. Yeah.
well, that's you have to live the words that you speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we
Definitely.
continued the tour. My body was able to progress and gain strength. I was able to build a custom tricycle.
Hmm.
At the time in 2008, there was only one other tricycle in the country.
Okay.
It was a guy named, well, two. I'm sorry, Stu Flax from Florida and Alex Mask from Florida. They were Paralympic cyclists that rode the tricycle in the Paralympics. And
Okay.
so I found them and decided that that's what I wanted to do and build. I
And
built
they helped you build your custom one for
Yeah,
you.
well,
Okay.
they helped me source the materials. There was a fabricator in England because tricycling is quite popular in Europe.
Oh, okay.
It was actually it's at one point it was the top tier, the echelon. You rode tricycles
Yeah.
like
That
the penny
the
farthing.
UK is the place to be for that.
So
Yeah.
anyhow, that's when we built the tricycle, and I was able to pedal under my own power and still motivated. We did it again, the Rise Above
Yeah.
Tour. I rode the tricycle. My mother rode next to me on her
Yeah.
own bicycle.
So you each had your own at that point. Yeah.
At that
Very
point, we
cool.
were side by side, and we went from
Yeah.
San Francisco to Washington D.C., 4,200 miles.
Wow. That had to be pretty amazing. And was it
Spectacular.
just the two of you at that point, or were there other people that kind of joined
Other
in?
people would come on and off. At that point, we started to get a little bit of a following, and so people
Yeah.
would meet up with us, and just like Forrest Gump, start riding along with us. And we had all different abilities join at different times, and
Yeah.
again, sharing with the communities. And so that was 2007 and 2008. And
Hmm.
after that, I was really compelled to get competitive, and I started racing the tricycle with the Paralympic program.
Okay, nice. And so you kind of did you join kind of the any of those Paralympic organizations then
Yep.
in the US? Okay.
The paracycling program
Yeah.
with all the coaches and teams, was on the team, won a national championship in
Oh,
2011.
awesome. Yeah.
Yep. And on paper, I was ready to go in medal.
Well, I was going to ask you if you were ready to go to one of the Olympic Games or something, but
Yeah, I was there. I was going in
yeah.
2012, but was
Yeah.
2 days prior to leaving for the games. I fell ill. I got a bladder infection.
Oh man. Right when you're about to go
Yeah,
do that.
and
Yeah.
that's life, Ty.
Yeah, it is. Yep. Yeah.
And when I share the details of that story, now I find tremendous value, because that is much more relatable for the majority. Versus
Right.
had I gone and I'm holding the medal and saying, yeah, it was amazing. Most can't relate to that process, but
It's very true.
someone can. You dedicate time and energy and resources to a goal, and you have all these hopes and dreams and expectations, and then life changes,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
that is real.
It is
And
very real. So what triggered that infection? Was it just out of the blue, just random, basically?
I was training myself into a hole. My body was just so tired and
Oh,
susceptible,
okay.
and it was just, that's how it was meant to play out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, at first, of course, I was devastated, heartbroken, all those things as a young man.
Yeah.
Um, but it was an immense opportunity, because it wasn't long after that that I met my now wife.
Yeah. Well, that's much better than an Olympic medal, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it
I
all
mean,
worked
things do
out.
work out, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That I kind of it's not quite the same, but I relate with. I was basically becoming a research professor at university, and that was kind of the direction. So I was teaching, doing research, writing grants, that whole like busy hustle bustle, like university lifestyle. And this gallbladder infection, basically like sent me into septic shock almost. And it was just like at that point, I couldn't work, anymore. And I was like I was already feeling burnout. But then, once that happened and I started just like trying to figure out, well, where do I even go next? It was just like I can't dedicate the time and energy needed to be proficient in that position necessarily. And so it's like, how do I take something like engineering and a degree in that and research and pivot it to social media and advocacy and like education? Like, where do I go from there? So it's kind of looking back, it's kind of interesting seeing like, well, there's these things that out of our control that reach in and be like, no, you got to stop and reset for a minute. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of good lessons there, I guess. But
well, I mean, we make meaning, right?
yeah,
And good on you for
yeah,
exploring the silver lining, as we said earlier.
yeah,
There are so
yeah,
many positives in these moments of struggle or hardship or
yeah,
change, and so yeah, we just keep moving forward. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So like I'm thinking around 08, 09 when you were talking, that's kind of the almost the dawn of social media, a little bit in that range, I think. So like how did that like did you reach out and start forming connections and like set up a profile? Like what was your kind of entry into social media like, I guess?
My entry into social media was MySpace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just for fun. I mean, I didn't really use it as a tool to network, other than just with my groups of friends and
Yeah.
anyone I connected with from the road and stuff. It's just where I shared my interests in music and lifestyle.
Yeah, I was
So
going to ask if you had one of those little music playlists on your.
absolutely, of
Oh
course,
yeah, I had one of those.
changed the colors, and I learned how to do a little coding.
And your top, like, what was it, top 10 friends or something that you had listed? Yeah.
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, you've got the full customized page. I love that.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Taught me a lot about the computer.
Yeah.
But my education is nil. It's all just been for my own self-interest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so MySpace, and then started my own website, just where I could share a blog. I was
Yeah.
following my process of therapy, um, and so yeah, that was my entry point.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of interesting looking back. Like I thought of it as just kind of like a social thing, and I never really put much stock in. Yeah, I can use that to deliver a message or like to share like how to live with, disability and things. But now, like after that gallbladder surgery, I was like, this is kind of, there's a little more to this than just like, I don't know, like debating like movies or whatever people were doing with it back when I was a kid. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So what's it been like now with the following? Like, I know you also started a nonprofit, right?
That's why we're out on the road. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
adversity into adventure.
Okay.
Is our foundation. We have 3 specific pillars of impact where we fund rehabilitation programs, adaptive recreation programs, and neurological research.
Okay.
And we came to this because what I didn't mention is after the Olympics and all this stuff, my mother and I formed our own gym, the Center of Restorative Exercise. It was a rehabilitative center that bridged the gap between traditional rehab, insurance subsidized acute care, and Gold's Gym or 24-hour fitness. There's a big chasm there. Once you're discharged, where do you go? At that time, in 2011, when we opened it, there were very few opportunities for people, even in the metropolis areas like the West Coast, LA. And so, where am I going with this? We worked that business for many years passionately. I always said it was like the hair club for men. Not only am I an owner, I'm a client.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that was passion work, and we sold the company auspiciously, divine timing, right before COVID. And then we had our daughter in 2020. I wrote the book, The Rebellious Recovery, chronicling, what do you say, 2 decades.
Yeah.
Life with spinal cord injury. And then my wife and I sat and thought, like, how can we be most useful with this, more than half my life of experience, both the rehabilitative space and quality of life. I sit on the board of multiple organizations, and I just thought I would like to be able to steer the funds and impact into the areas that affected my life most. And so rehabilitation programs, I don't need to start another gym. I need to just add to those that are doing it well, or those that don't have the resources or the exposure. Early rehab gives you the tools and empowers you to life. And then recreation programs, that's the reintegration of a passionate life back into the world, communities, all the adaptive modalities that get outdoors and exploring again. I'm super passionate about that. And so that's the second pillar. And then I'm all about investing in the future and solving conditions. So that's where it's like, let's not start another program. Let's just feed those that are doing it well.
Yeah.
So diversity into adventure. We sold our house in Los Angeles. We bought the motorhome. We branded it with some corporate partners, and we take that money and we live the words that we speak, and we go to the people out on the road, and that's where where we are today.
Yeah, I love that. I love that travel across the country thing too. Like it's all tied together, right? Like everything's kind of in sync with like what you're passionate about, but also like turning around and kind of spreading that knowledge and helping anybody else coming along that might be in a similar situation. And I think about like what would it have been like to have some things like that when I was a kid, like to have someone else saying, this is how you can do it, these are the tools that you can have.
Come on, we're having fun.
Yeah, that's really
cool.
It
all the way back full circle to those seeds that my mother planted early, that I'm doing now for my daughter at her young age. We don't have to put her in school yet. We're just educating her on the road.
Yeah.
And I'm trying or intending to be the person that I would want to see.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. What was it like starting out as a nonprofit, trying to find that funding and everything to help kind of get started with that?
Just build the dreams, man.
Yeah.
Build it. And you live that mission statement. We enhance those 3 pillars.
Yeah.
And so you just try to be concise with your mission statement and your vision statement, and be that example. And when you form all that together, and then you go to your network and say, this is what I'm doing and what I would like to do with you. Then you're offering, you're not asking.
That's a good way to put it, because I think that they'd be much more inclined to work with somebody that is offering instead. Did those, I guess, did they kind of align? Like, did they have any kind of previous engagement with disability or anything like that? Or how did you kind of know?
Yeah. I mean, over time, we have a network of people and companies that, I've engaged with in the past. They've expressed interest in supporting. And so with this tour, I give everyone an option. If it's a company, you can either be a sponsor and participate out of your marketing budget, or you can be a philanthropic donor and be part of your social impact or giving. And so that's how we give people, options to participate. I call it diversifying your donation, because you've got these 3 buckets. Take you on a donor journey. I can literally grant somebody early in a process of healing and carry them all the way through to ultimately being a part of a solution.
Yeah, very cool. So like what's the increase in involvement? Like, do you have a lot more people now that are kind of joining you in different parts of the journey, or what's that look like now?
Yeah, now we're a bit more fluid today
Okay.
because last year we were very rigid with itinerary, and I was cycling a lot, and so
Mhm.
we had to be at in certain destinations at certain times, and that really pressurized and took the authentic fun out of it.
Yeah.
So now we schedule a month, 2 weeks in advance, depending, schedules of specific destinations. Like today, for example, we were we were west of Cleveland at a adaptive golf facility
Nice. Yeah.
where they have an entire golf course that's tailor made to adaptive golf.
Ooh,
All
that
the
sounds
course,
fun.
all the equipment, all the training. They actually have a rehabilitative center on site, so they can be a patient can be discharged out of the like Cleveland Clinic or
Yeah.
the hospital system, transferred into this rehab center. They start training and then transition into golfing.
Wow. That
That's
sounds
the
pretty cool.
translation.
Yeah.
And so that was a really cool program to go experience today, and we'll be sharing that on social in the future here.
Very cool, man. I love those kind of adaptive approaches to sports and outdoor activities and things, because it's like, I don't know, it's really an important part of human experience. I think just getting out and being able to still do things like that, with disability, like
Well, and
that's
it's
huge.
totally inclusive, Ty. Like
Yeah.
open to everyone. Like the general public comes in, there are competitions held there, and so it's just humans having a good time on a
So
golf
it's
course,
encouraging, like whatever able-bodiedness you have, or
whatever
like
your
whatever the
ability,
situation is. Yeah.
your ability. We'll try
Yeah.
to remove the barrier to entry and to just bring people out and have a nice time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really great. I mean, I can't like being able to tour the country and kind of experience and see those kind of programs going on has to be really, really neat to see.
It feels good, Ty. To be able to go and cherry pick these programs, or
Yeah.
maybe, like I said earlier, uncover them that I
Yeah.
had no idea it existed.
And just like amplifying kind of the awareness of those programs is
Have more
huge.
programs.
Yeah.
Let's have more. Why shouldn't I mean? It's a gold standard. So let's take
Yeah.
this model, bring it out to the West Coast, or bring it out to these
Well,
other areas.
it's yeah, and it's like a proof of concept, like this can work, right? And then
So that's
yeah,
part of what we're doing. We're kind of like a marketing campaign where
yeah,
we're sharing other people's programs and stories, and then it feels good because we get to empower them with our corporate support. So we really need to continuously raise those funds so that we can keep paying it forward.
yeah, 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 very cool. Like, are there others that stand out in your mind? Other programs you've seen over the years, like the golf one, or I mean, I'm sure there's probably countless you've probably seen, but is there like one or two that are like stick out above others right now?
There's an amazing program in Park City, Utah, called the National Ability Center.
Okay.
Super well funded, so well supported. The all season um, opportunities that people of all abilities have um, is really special. It's an incredible program up there. We saw that last year. The Wasatch
Yeah.
is really good. There are a lot of really great rehab centers across the country that are otherwise not very well known. There are
Mhm.
epicenters or hubs uh,
Mhm.
of therapy, like the Craig Center in Colorado or
That
Denver.
I've heard of that one. It sounds like a really good program.
It's a great program. The Shirley Ryan Ability Center in Chicago, um, the Miami Project. There's a lot of big hubs.
Yeah.
There are fewer of the smaller satellites, and we need more of those.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. In fact, that kind of reminds me too about like why I feel like these small conversations of like getting stories out there one on one is kind of that way too, like amplifying kind of the voice, I guess. So like, I'm sure that there's so many good programs that probably need support that you're meeting and helping, and like that's how improvement keeps growing. I think. I mean, that's that kind of effort.
We're sharing each other's lives, man. Good on
Yeah,
you putting this together and bringing
yeah,
people
yeah.
onto the platform to share.
Yeah, definitely. I sure enjoy not keeping it like in one disability lane too, right? Like trying to bring in kind of every like category under the disability umbrella, trying to get people, you know, get their stories out there. So, but I wanted to ask you kind of as a maybe the last direction about being a parent as someone with a disability and what that's been like having a child and going through that process so far.
Great question. I was honestly terrified
Yeah,
to be a father.
yeah,
Um, I did not think I could be the father that I had envisioned. Um, I thought, I mean, I myself am a big baby. I take a lot of time and energy,
same, same here.
resources, right, for my
Yep,
care, for my
yep,
family. And I didn't want to be irresponsible by bringing another life into the world and not being able to provide, protect, our guide. And so I was very scared.
Mm-hmm.
And we continued on. We carried on, and fortunately, naturally, my wife conceived, and my daughter was born. And the moment, I know you hear it all the time, super cliche, but the moment she was placed in my arms, um, that fear evaporated.
Yeah.
My physical disability vanished. It was unimportant.
Yeah.
And I was empowered on a cellular level. A primal instinct was activated in me that was so powerful. It was this paternal force that all of a sudden I just kind of sat up straighter, and I felt so much stronger. Like, I'm gonna.
It just took over, right? Yeah.
Well, we're made for this.
Yeah.
Like, our biology is activated in that moment. And I became a father.
Yeah.
That protector, that guide, and disability did not matter. And today does not see my disability. She sees my choices, Ty.
That's what I was going to say, is like that. That's so great when kids get the opportunity, I think, to grow up around that, where it's like, it is like, it's just second nature. It's not right. Like, it's not wrong. There's not, like, you're not disabled even, right? You're just, it's just that connection is just.
She sees right beyond that in people. She sees
people.
She doesn't see conditions.
And that's going to be a lifelong thing, right? Like, that's going to be something she carries that is going to improve like every interaction out there, I think, it's like,
I am immensely grateful that she grow up with this perspective.
Yeah, that's so great. I have a nephew that he's 4 years old, and I've kind of been looking at it through that lens too. It's like every moment kind of together and him interacting, and like there's no barriers, there's like no comparison between abilities. It's just like that natural human connection, and it's so cool. There's nothing like it. And I think that's really where the solutions are going to come, kind of the next wave of like disability, awareness and advocacy and all that. I think that's really going to be a good thing.
High quality humans, man. So I encourage my friends that have different abilities to, if they're exploring parenthood, to do it, because it will push them into a new level of life. Yeah,
absolutely. That's such a cool thing to know that, you're getting to experience that, and she's getting to go with you on all these tours and see kind of all the adaptive, like programs and everything. That's got to be really cool.
Yep, it is. It really is.
Yeah, well, I sure appreciate the time, Aaron, and I'm definitely going to follow along your journey more. And if you're ever in the Tennessee or Nashville area driving through on your trip, we'll have to.
I will be in Nashville September 26th, 7, 8, 9, 30th. Yeah, I'll be there.
Nice. Well, we'll communicate and see if there's a chance to meet up, maybe.
Yep, we're going to be there with Permobile.
Oh, nice. That's my wheelchair brand. Yep. So that sounds like
right in Lebanon.
Okay. Yep. That's what is that, kind of east of Nashville a little bit, I feel like.
Just east of Nashville, and there's that big lake. What's the big lake right there?
Oh boy, I've only been in Nashville a year, so I don't know. I don't know the names, but yeah, I know the area though.
Well, my wife loves Franklin.
Yes. Yep. That's a nice area. There's some really historic sites, and it's green, like the scenery is just crazy there. Yeah.
Well, we will definitely connect when I'm in town.
That sounds great. And for people that want to follow kind of what you're doing, I know you have a couple different profiles, but what's kind of the main one that you want people to know about?
Sure. My personal Instagram is I'm Aaron Baker.
Okay.
Twitter, Facebook, all that. But the important one is Adversity into Adventure.
Okay.
Adversityintoadventure.org is the website. We have a live travel map on there, so you can always see where we're at with a calendar.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can track us everywhere we go and everywhere we've been. Blog entries, photos, videos. The YouTube is up. There's a lot of information there. And then all the social channels, Adversity into Adventure.
Awesome. It's crazy how many platforms there are now for getting stuff out there.
Too many.
Yeah, there is.
You can also find The Rebellious Recovery is the book. That's on Amazon.
Okay.
Or therebelliousrecovery.com. So.
All right, awesome. I'll put all that in the links and everything in the caption for people to kind of follow and see what you're doing. But it's really been great, Aaron. I sure appreciate the time.
Well, thank you, sir. And kudos to all you're doing. This is really good.
Thanks. You too.